Hi guys! Today I want to share with you our thought process, why we're investing in property, but more specifically, why we're investing at all. And while there are some obvious reasons, for example monetary reasons, I also want to discuss with you a couple of points that are not related to money, but are very important in our consideration why we started investing. Let's start with the obvious ones, the monetary reasons. So first big point, the elephant in the room, inflation. You all have heard about it, inflation, it's in the newspapers, it's everywhere, it's a term that is commonly thrown around that inflation is eroding our money away, and there is even a target for it. So in case you don't know about it, there is a target that the Bank of England wants to get to an average inflation of around 2% every year. That means your money is becoming worth less and less every year, and the target is 2%. You might feel that when you go to your supermarket and you know that that candy bar that was like 10 cents when you were a kid and now you have to pay a pound for it. That is inflation at play. Everyone just has to keep increasing their prices because everyone else also does it. And now, after the pandemic, you probably feel it more and more that certain things are just going up in prices. You go to the restaurant, everything is a pound more expensive. Or if you're somewhere in the trades industry, you realize that the timber is more expensive and cement and all these different things. That's all due to inflation. So what does that do over time? So if you are putting money aside, let's say you have £10,000 and you just keep it sitting there and you want to touch it again in 10 years, well, it cannot buy that same stuff anymore. It's now worth way less than 10 years ago when you originally saved it. So there's a nice graphic here that shows you just over time your money is getting worth less and less. Which brings us to the second point. That's bank rates. You would think that because you put your money into a bank that they're taking care of it and they grow it for you. Well, that might have been the case a couple of years and even decades ago, but today you have a savings rate of maybe 0.1%. If you're lucky, you're getting 0.5%. Now that is less than the 2% inflation, so your money is getting worth less over time by 2% and you're only getting maybe 0.5%. That means your money is still getting worth less, 1.5% every year, even though you have it in a bank account where you think it's becoming more and more. And now there are even talks that there should be negative interest rates. So what does that mean? You put your money into an account and you have to pay to even deposit it on there. So why does that even happen? Well, the government wants you to spend your money. That is one example of how they can make you spend all your hard-earned cash just by giving you a penalty for putting your money into a bank account. You should rather buy a car with it or put an extension onto your house. Just find any reason to spend that money because it's getting worth less and less. Obviously that stimulates the economy, but you don't want to stimulate the economy, you want to keep your money, you worked for it. So that's inflation coupled with low bank interest rates. And now over to some non-monetary reasons. One reason is the security that another stream of income gives you. We have all experienced the pandemic, and we see that you can lose your job just like that, or if you're running a business, that your turnover can go down immediately, restaurants have to close down, or whatever business is affected where your sales are just going down or your salary is going down, you got made redundant. If that's your only stream of income, well, that's how quick it just went away. So it's very important to set up something else that is earning money, which is not related to your job or your business. And that's why Elsie and me decided, well, we need to invest into something else that keeps producing an income, even if we are sick, if there's a pandemic coming, or even if we're on holiday. It's just something else needs to generate some income. So what is that stream of income that supports your family and pays the bills when you cannot physically make the money at that time? The next point is about the pension. Maybe when you're young, just like us, you don't think a lot about pension. But when you're in your 50s and in your 60s and you're retiring soon, and you're looking at your actual pension account, how much is in there and how much you will get once you retire, often it doesn't really look that great. And we know several people who are looking at these slips of papers and they say, well, that's not enough. And that gets even worse when you see how many people are working past the retirement age. We've seen it ourselves. I've worked in a company and there are people coming back who are way past their retirement age, and I don't think they're coming back because they love the work and they don't want to enjoy their pension so much and they don't know what to do with their time, but it's to top up their pension. And even in my own family, my grandparents, they were looking to taking on another job, a side income, and that is to top up the pension. So that got us thinking, us as engineers, we even see other engineers coming back to work to top up their pension, so why aren't we starting that process when we're already younger? And that's exactly what brought us into that thought process. Maybe we should start it a bit earlier. And finally, think about what that invested money could do for you. But that is a very personal question, but in our case, we were thinking, what if we can reduce our work week to only 4 days a week and spend more time with our kids? So we don't have kids yet, but that was the thought process. And again, we know plenty of parents who say, well, I'm in my work the whole week and I barely get to see my kids. So if you can take off Fridays a bit earlier than usual because you don't need that income, would that help you in your family? Maybe that's worth considering. And the last point is really more of a fun point, so to say. Just imagine you have some passive income coming from your investments and you only spend it once a year, and that is on Christmas. Wouldn't it be great to just give Christmas presents and you didn't have to worry how much they cost because it's all paid by investments? We came across a couple of quotes of people in an old age, what they regret doing. Some of those quotes relate to, oh, I wish I didn't spend so much time at work, but more time with my family or my loved ones. Is that something where you would think, well, yes, my life is about spending time with my family and it's not everything just about job, work and make more money, but it's actually see your kids growing up, going on holidays. Just think about, what would you do with the time? Would you devote it to doing your hobby just because you don't have to work that one day during the week because it's covered by your investments? Those were points that we had in our consideration. So before I wrap up this video, I would like to invite you to write a comment below. What would you do with invested funds? Would you spend it? Would you put it away for pension? Or would you replace your salary with it so you can spend more time with your family or hobby or whatever it is you want to spend time on? Leave a comment below, give it a like and subscribe to our channel if you want to see more videos, and I see you on the next one. Bye! Think about what invested money could do for you. Could you spend more time with your family because you're able to take off one day of your... Can I say a whole sentence?
It's getting full.
Yeah.
A memory card.